long was it before you realised what it was? All being well, if I did my job well, took you a couple of seconds. We'll see whether or not that's the case. We'll see how good my editing and filming is. This right here is a 2006 Toyota Camry Grande or Grandee, whatever it is. It's basically, it's a Toyota Camry, top of the range, so it's got leather interior, fake wood grain, a big infotainment system, or what was considered big for the time. This was originally my grandmother's car, and after she put about 200,000 kilometers on it, it became my very, very first car, which I had mixed feelings with at the time because I was tossing up. I'd just become a petrol head and I was trying to figure out, do I want something sporty or adventurous or you know, I need something that's my own identity. And I decided, no, I'll do the responsible thing. I'll save my money and use this so I could eventually buy a house and make more responsible decisions as I get older and become an adult. That, however, quickly went out the window when we purchased this. This is a 1975 XB Falcon sedan, and it's a complete POV pack. It's got a 250 inline six and no power. Now the reason we're driving this one is because we're living in a strange time. It's very, very odd. What's happened is all the cars I own are working. Mostly. I mean, the Pajero Sports parking sensors have a fritz regardless of whether or not you're close to something, and it's very annoying. The John Goss is doing its overheating thing where it's not actually overheating, but it's cooking the wires, so there's too much resistance and it won't start after you drive it for 20 minutes. And then the LTD, well, the LTD's the LTD and it needs a full restoration. And the VK Commodore's in a similar vein, it needs a full restoration as well. But they're all running and driving, which is remarkable. It's very uncommon for me, very uncommon. So I thought we would take a trip down memory lane and drive what I treat as my first car, which is this XB Falcon. Now, it is odd because I did go with the Camry because I didn't want a project car. I didn't want something to work on. I didn't want something to fall in love with. I just wanted something cheap, easy to maintain, and that would just work. I was going to save money for a house. God, that went out the window quick. Little 17-year-old me was with my dad and we quickly realised the project that was the John Goss, and it wasn't going to be ready anytime soon. And we needed parts. We needed more parts, and parts were hard to get. And Dad found this cheap on Marketplace, and we went out and picked it up together to use it as parts for the John Goss. And it was in rough condition, but driving condition. It was in still good enough nick that we could drive it. And Dad asked me when we picked it up, do you want to register it while we're waiting for the John Goss? Do you just want to drive this around? I said, no, it's not the real thing. I don't want it, no. Well, that sat in my head, and about 2 weeks later, I said, Dad, can we still register that? And he said, yes. What ended up happening was I fell in love with it. This was the first car I modified, the first car I went camping with, the first car I did adventures with, first car I explored with, first car I just took out to go for a drive, even though it drove like absolute garbage. I fell in love with it truly. And it taught me so much. Like, we were, a mate of mine were trying to wire up some USB outlets so I could charge my phone on these longer journeys I was taking it on. And we cross-wired things and made sparks happen, I don't know, 4 or 5 times trying to wire just a little USB up. It was a disaster. And I put on this surfboard because I thought it looked cool. None of us here know how to surf, but I thought it looked cool, so I put that on. Same with the rear spoiler, which isn't centered. I didn't do a good job of mounting that. It was quite the journey doing all these modifications. But I think one of the biggest modifications that I really, really enjoy is this interior. In here, we don't have the original cloth seats. What we've got here are P6 LTD seats. The same sort of LTD which we've got in the 393 in. And actually I was going to steal those seats because that was a parts car at the time and it wasn't running. I'm glad I didn't though, because then we probably wouldn't have that LTD running, and that LTD is sort of like a replacement for this in my life. Like, it's more, well, it's meant to be more comfortable. The seats are pretty uncomfy, and actually these seats are quite uncomfortable as well. They originally were quite a lot nicer, but now it's sort of like sitting on plywood with some springs. It's not that pleasant. And the rear ones, they don't really fit. They're a bit wide, a bit tall at the top. So yeah, not the best modification. And in sort of vein of that, there's been a couple other modifications that didn't work out too well. Other ones that maybe weren't necessarily the first thing I wanted to do, but we ended up with. You see, this car has got an interesting name about it. It's quite a unique name. I think in order for you to understand where the name comes from, you're going to have to come back in time with me a little bit. So imagine little 17-year-old me, 9 years ago, about to leave for school. He's gotten up nice and early, because he's a bit of an odd kid like that, and he's off to go to school. I hop in the car, I start it up. It's best to let it warm up. So I let it warm up for a bit. I'm getting my bags and everything, popping it in the boot. Hop in, sit down. And I look down here in the passenger footwell, and I see these little white, what looks like rice grains. It was very odd. I looked down, I was like, why is there rice in my car? And I looked a bit closer, investigating these rice grains, and realised something. They were moving. I screamed out, why is there maggots in my car? Mum yells back at me, she's sitting in the living room. Nuggets? What do you mean nuggets? Why is there nuggets in the car? Did you leave them in there? I said, no, there's maggots in my carpet. I came back to the car after explaining the situation to Mum and doused the maggots with some aerosol bug spray. I then went to school and thought all was well. It wasn't. About 2 days later, I kid you not, 2 days later, we got more maggots in the car. I realised something. This carpet is old and mouldy and crusty, and for whatever reason that bit's damp and it's not drying out. So I cut that bit of carpet out thinking I've saved it. I've done it. No more maggots. A week later, there are more maggots in my car. They just keep coming back. I was like, right. I cut out more carpet, and then I let off one of those aerosol bombs, the ones where you hold the trigger down and it stays held down. I let off 2 of them in this car. I was like, yes, I've got them now. No, a week later, more maggots in my car. I couldn't get rid of them. I was trying so hard to get rid of these maggots. They wouldn't leave. I ended up cutting out a massive square of the carpet. And thankfully after that they didn't come back. But ever since that period of time, this has been known as Maggot Car. And Maggot Car lived on beyond me, because after I had went through this car and experienced this, I went and got a Colorado, and whilst this was sitting in my shed, my younger brother got his license and he became the next owner of this car. And he drove it around and fell in love with it, and he had his own myriad of issues as well. His were a bit more drastic than mine, I must admit. he had some brake issues and lost his brakes twice whilst driving it around. A bit scary, but he ended up fine and there was no damage to the car, so all is well. I honestly have a massive soft spot for this car, and I did originally intend to restore this one. This was almost going to be like the VK Commodore. I was going to treat this as that learning project and use it to teach me. But it's a big job. There's a lot of rust in this car, and it's not healthy. It's not in a good state, and it's all restorable. Like, it's not that bad, but I don't really know. Like, it's a bit much. And there's a part of me too that just, I like the shitness. I really, really do. I like how crap it really is. It's just, I don't know. It's characterful. It's memorable. It's fun. It's really fun. Every time you drive it, you think, how is it going to cause me harm? Like, what's going to go wrong? I love it. I genuinely love it. It's been reliable for the most part. I went on a trip to the York Peninsula, which is about 4 hours away from Adelaide. And on that trip, my friend had his 2008, I think it was, Toyota Prado. And he had so many more issues than I had. I had one flat tyre, and that was it. It just kept going. And every time I did something stupid in it, like I tried to drift it, it saved me. It just, for one, it just didn't have the power, let's be real. It drifts sort of on gravel, but the amount of body roll it has, it just didn't really work. I genuinely love this car, and it's so nice that it's still here and it's still working. And I don't think we should ever, none of us in the family should ever try to restore it, because it's just perfectly shit. It's just perfect in the way of how bad it is. I must admit now though, the 9 years later, it could do with a bit of work. There is a bit of wheel wobble coming from it, which isn't very pleasant. At slower speeds it's not too bad, but once you sort of get between, well, here, right there, what's that, 60 to 80, there's a bit of wobble. It goes away, but it's there for a little bit. There's also not a lot of power. It could do with some more power. There's a massive exhaust leak. It's all right. I still love it. It's interesting driving it now so many years later, because I obviously haven't touched this for, I don't know, maybe half a decade. It drives just like how I remember. There's so much play in the steering. There is no power. There is so much noise. I taped up that corner of the door because there was so much wind noise from it, and I didn't want to spend the money on getting a new seal kit for the car. But like, I don't know, it's just fun. And there's a part of me too, I think this has come out from driving the Commodore. I kind of just want a crap car, like a car you know, it runs, it drives, and it does a good job of it, but it's just crap. Like, you don't really care about it, park it wherever. It's just, I don't know. There's something freeing about it, I suppose. The only drama is you're always afraid that it's going to break down. But you get that, I suppose. I think I've managed to replace this, though, in a brilliant way. The P6 LTD, that really has become this one's replacement. The P6 is very similar, and although I want to restore the P6 and make it better than new, it is sort of the reincarnation of this. It's a better version, it's got more power, it's more comfort. It's just the replacement. That being said though, I don't know if anything could truly replace this. It's fun and I love it. It's really cool. It does look a bit derelict though. Very much does. But oh well. But now I think it's time to park it in the shed, because it's worked hard today. I've driven it around for maybe an hour or two, just getting shots and sitting in here reminiscing. And we'll start moving on to finalising the John Goss, working on the LTD, stripping the VK Commodore, painting the trailer, maybe engine swapping a buggy, doing all the other fun projects. And this I think will keep just the same. Just keep it the way it is. A little time capsule. I think that's the best way, the best thing to do with this. I'm going to enjoy my little drive back home as I visit memory lane. I'm really going to enjoy it. Alright, we're going to check framing. I'm thinking about here-ish. I might have to come a bit closer. Doesn't look too bad. Alright. Let's try this. About here. Shut the doors as well. Second time that's happened. Thankfully you're not damaged.